Right, good. Well, that's quite loud, isn't it? Good morning, everyone. My name's Dan Thomas. I'm the global media editor at the Financial Times. It's my very great pleasure to be here on such a beautiful day at Sports Beach to welcome you to our next panel, which is looking at the thing that makes this all tick, which is the money, right? Show me the money, guys. So what, as we know, sports is like unique in being able to grab the hearts and minds of devoted fans all around the world. And it's no surprise that investors have followed suit. They can see where the interest is. They can see where the fans are. To my mind, like I'm a financial journalist, I've been looking at this market for so long. It's changed quickly, though. I mean, 10 years ago, it was kind of a passion project, and now you've got the sovereign wealth funds, you've got the private equity, the money's coming in, it's pouring in. So first of all, I mean, Erica, just tell me through how you see it from Standard Chartered. Tell me a little bit about how Standard Chartered work with sport, first of all, and about what the value is to you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for having me. I run the global sponsorship portfolio for Standard Chartered Bank. And if you're in Asia, Middle East, or Africa, you'll know us very well. But if you're from Europe or the United States, you might not know us. We're probably the world's smallest global bank. But we're also the front of shirt partner of Liverpool Football Club, and we've recently joined Formula One family as the global wealth management partner and global corporate and investment banking partner of Formula One. So I kind of feel I'm up here as the brand investor in sport, but as a bank, I can also talk about what's changing in investment in sport. And I think if we look back at probably the last 10 years, I think some of the biggest changes probably is that private capital that's coming into sport. I think I would say also a women's sport and women's media rights perspective is really on fire and changing so much. And then I'd say the third one probably is sports tech and how fandom is changing through sports tech, but also through wearables and other things.
Yeah, huge changes. And I've got a theory, which is that post-COVID and post-pandemic, the fandom has never been higher, right? People have come out and they just want to meet people, they want to be at events, they want to share communal moments with people, that support their teams. And that's become incredibly valuable for brands, right?
Absolutely. And, it's funny, I started my career with Nike and Adidas, and, the athlete was always off limits in their personal time. But I think what changed during COVID is that the curtain was pulled back and everybody was given a look inside at what you did in your private time, what you did with your families. And after COVID, you couldn't close that door. And so I think COVID really did change how brands and fans interact with their sporting heroes.
Yeah, Eric, you've been playing for how many years now have you been on the pitch?
12.
12 years. I mean, that's like, you must have seen the sport change hugely, all the money coming into it. And how's that changed it for you? How have you seen it develop from there?
It has changed immensely, and like Erica mentioned, I think COVID had a big hand in that. And when COVID happened, but sport was still able to keep going and bring people together and give a way to entertain people. In the NFL, we played throughout COVID. We didn't have, a lot of stadiums didn't have fans in the stadiums, but we were still able to play and entertain our fans around the world. And so making it through that and seeing the power of sport, I feel that really has changed a lot of things since then. And it's really, it's recession-proof. It's COVID, it's showed to be COVID-proof. And I think after that, a lot more money began to start pouring into sports. And I think it's the number one industry right now where everyone wants to get in. Sports and leagues and teams evaluations are higher than they've ever been. And the game is really expanding all around the world. And as this is happening, as sports becomes more institutionalized from a capital standpoint, I think fandom still remains at a premium. Fandom and fans loving your sport, whatever sport it is, really is what makes this all go at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I can say as an investor in leagues and investor in sports companies that sports companies at the forefront of their mind in expansion is fan experience. It is how can we garner and gain more fans? How can we tap into different markets around the world? How can we tap into our women fans of our sports? And that's always at the forefront of investors' minds. That's always at the forefront of a lot of leagues and teams' minds. But fandom is what makes it all go.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome, and it's been being able to connect with our fans more on a deeper level has been a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I've seen you play in London, which, that wouldn't have happened 10 years ago, right? Yeah, that's new markets, new audiences, new fans, new money coming into that as well.
Yeah, 2 games in London, and in the NFL, international is here, and it's going to expand. And like I said, at the forefront of this expansion is the fans, but how can we create more fans of our sport? I'm an investor in the NFL Flag League that is about to launch in a year or so, and we're starting with women at the forefront of that, and then as it should be. But that sport in itself, how can we gain more fans of the NFL in a lower barrier to entry? Flag, all you need is a ball and a couple plastic things on your waist, and you can play. And it's really cool to see the expansion of the international piece and all the fans all around the world who are starting to love the game of football.
Yeah. That leads us naturally onto the NBA, right? And what the NBA is doing in Europe now, which is super exciting. Probably the biggest, hottest topic right now I'm hearing. Everyone's talking about what's happening to the franchise. But for those who don't know, take us through what's going on, what the process is currently.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for coming to see us. I mean, I'm very biased, but I think it's very exciting as well. I would say, just to tail off what you said, it's not random what investors see in sports. On the one hand, it's the most premium form of live entertainment, and it's not a coincidence that at difficult times, be it pandemics or times of war, division, anger, it's one of the very few things we've got left that really brings people together and unites them. On the other, to your point around NBA Europe, sport assets are very rare. There is real scarcity there. The NBA has been 30 teams forever. We're expanding this year and trying to get 2 more teams in, and then NBA Europe. That's very unique. That's once in a forever opportunity. So they see that as this is the time that we can come in and really multiply our investment. In particular for Europe, what we see there is the perfect scenario, the perfect value gap. On the one end, you have a sport that is the second most popular sport on the continent with 270 million fans, just behind football, soccer, but also the one that skews the youngest and grows the fastest. On the other, European basketball doesn't really have the ability to commercialize that fan base. So you look at an industry that is worth about $50 billion, which is the value of the sports industry in Europe. That's dominated by football. They take in about 45 billion of that 50. And then European basketball, the second most popular sport, makes about 200 million. That's a huge value gap, and that creates tremendous issues both on the team side. All of the teams lose money. They're not profitable operations. They don't even have a path to that profitability. And on the other, on player development. If you're a young basketball player in Europe today, a European career is not your ambition. Your ambition is to get as fast out of Europe and get into the NBA. And sometimes that pathway is through colleges, and then with NIL and all that, that creates a much more prominent path for them. So that's what we see, and in collaboration with a lot of investors, but primarily with the big basketball and sporting powerhouses in Europe, some of the biggest clubs in the world, we want to reimagine that ecosystem.
No, I mean, it is attracting so much attention. I mean, the commissioner said there's been record interest from external investors into the league, prompted by this. I'm not going to talk about the Knicks, by the way, but that must have helped.
We can talk about the Knicks if you want. I just got back from New York. There was a lot of love there.
Just as the auction stops, you need to get that Knicks excitement going.
Well, in 60 seconds or less, I would say the way we imagine our league is a semi-open competition. It will start with 16 teams. 12 of them will be what we call permanent franchises. They will never lose their spot, whereas the other 4 would be teams that qualify to that competition. They earn that spot through performance, which is the most fundamental and foundational sporting principle that has not applied to European basketball today. So for those 12 cities, we've been out in the market since January. Our process ends actually this coming Monday. and we've had an unprecedented amount of interest. More than 120 investors that come from the full spectrum of the ecosystem. So as I said, some of the world's biggest sporting brands, football clubs, basketball clubs, some multi-sport organizations, but also professional investors, sovereigns, private equities, and wealthy individuals. So we're very excited about that interest. Monday is a couple of days away, and from there we move forward with our plan to announce and then eventually launch this new league in about a year from now.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, my son, my 17-year-old son, he's on the basketball court every single day. It's crazy. He's British. I'm like, what? Play football, guys. Come on. Like, what's basketball? Like, so I don't get it, but like, he's there.
It's a great misconception. Basketball in the UK is the second biggest sport that kids under 14 years old play. But there's a lot of work to be done post that age to develop them into real players.
And you're monetizing it. I mean, Erica, that's I think an important point, right? 'Cause, like, sports gets to different fan groups, like in a way that nothing else does, right? And tell me, so you got various properties that you sponsor, and they all, I guess, have different targets, right? To different audiences, different parts of the world. Take us through that.
Yeah, I mean, so we've been the front of shirt partner for Liverpool Football Club we're going into our 17th season.
Wow.
I think we're the second longest front of shirt partner in the EPL history. You can all guess which was the number one. I won't say it. But football is such a great mass sport. And as we, as a brand, become more and more of a top wealth manager around the world for our clients, we wanted to look to diversify the portfolio, and that's why becoming the official wealth management partner of Formula One was a perfect complement. So, you know, we've got football, which is a global sport that is played in Anfield but resonates around the world. And then now we're involved with Formula One, which is in 24 races in 21 countries, 19 of which we do business in. The only two we don't are Monaco, but as the global wealth management partner, it's very important. And Azerbaijan. But some of our biggest clients actually have good business in Azerbaijan. So the two sports, although very, very different, really appeal to our broad fan base from both a mass and also ultra-high net worth point of view.
I mean, that's also interesting about Formula One, I think, is a great case study of a sport which, you know, 10 years ago, it skewed male, it skewed a certain demographic, and now with like Drive to Survive, and they've done such a great job around the media, a part of that. They've just made it different.
I mean, the happy accident of Drive to Survive and the perfect storm, I think, with COVID really did so much for the sport. But I'm American, so I didn't grow up with Formula One, whereas in Europe and other markets, they did. So for me, seeing the transformation has been incredible. And we were just in Shanghai for the race, 250,000 fans out for the racing. 50% of them were women. And women is the fastest growing group within Formula One, and it's young women. So, you know, the sport is changing dramatically.
Yeah, super interesting. Eric, I mean, how do you just to take a step back, so you're an investor. As an athlete, you're investing into sports properties, but you yourself are a sport property, right? As an athlete, you are attracting money into what you do, into like who you are. How do you in your mind, how do you break down and you're obviously playing as well, how do you break down what you do now? Because you must be seeing all this money coming in and how the sport is changing around you as an athlete.
I see myself as Eric Armstead. What I like to say is I'm good for business.
Yeah.
In any space, whether that is on the field, creating value for myself as a player, or off the field, being able to be in spaces where I add value to the companies that I partner with, add value to my community through philanthropy. So I don't really see it as a singular line. I am an athlete, I do play football, and I have a really cool job doing that, but that's not every facet of me, and that's not going to be my entire life. You know, football will end, and I want to continue to add value to the world and be able to create value for myself and my family in various ways, and use my intellect and my ability in other spaces to help the world, help people, but also to help businesses and partners. And I love being in this space. And when I was a young player in the NFL, I saw value creation as just what I did on the field. And as I continue to progress throughout my career and educate myself, I flew to Columbia University my second year in the NFL to learn about venture investing. And since then, my brain has just been unlocked. And I see the opportunities there to create value, to meet people, to be in spaces that provide opportunity for me to grow in other areas. And I have a lot of fun doing it, and I enjoy doing it. And I take the time to learn and try to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, yeah, it's such an interesting area. The athlete, well, the nature of an athlete has just changed fundamentally, right? You know, you just don't turn out on the pitch anymore. You have to do so much more around it, and you're valuable. You got.
Yeah, it's so awesome, the athlete space right now. I'm really proud to be an athlete. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of narrative around athletes and going broke and, getting in trouble. But the era of athletes right now, I feel has been the best era there has been in terms of our intellect and ability to build enterprises. You have thousands of examples of guys building in spaces other than just their sport, whether that's through business, philanthropy, which is important. Guys are pouring into our communities. Guys are building companies. Guys are amazing partners. And so it's a good time to be an athlete. It's an excellent space to be in, and I'm proud to be an athlete. And I'm inspired by all my colleagues in various sports who are doing it the right way, and we're all inspiring each other. And so it's a great time to be a part of it.
I think also you have that bond with the fans, which keeps it authentic as well. And I mean, George, I mean, when you're obviously talking to investors, and again, you refer to sovereign wealth funds and private equity, and that gets quite sort of like, that's, a lot of people think, well, what are they doing in my sport? Like, I should be owned by the traditional sports owners. How do you keep the authenticity in the NBA real, like going through that strain?
Such a good point, and I think that's one of the biggest opportunities and challenges as we're thinking about this project. I mean, just to start from your point around investors, obviously we'll select the right investors, not just due to their ability to fund this, and we expect this to be the biggest injection of capital, not in European basketball, in European sports, but on the other, on their long-term vision, these are people that will work for, will partner with, will build a league that's going to be out there, not for the next 5 or 10 years, but the next 100 years. So you want people with the same vision, but also values to make sure that that organization works well. The other is that many of those investors don't just bring capital, they bring operational capabilities. Many of them operate today very successful sporting programs throughout Europe. I'll use a few names randomly, but Manchester City, one of the biggest, best performing soccer football teams owned by a sovereign wealth fund. PSG, back-to-back winner of the Champions League, the same. AC Milan in Italy, the same. So they have the ability to put great performing teams on the court, on the pitch, and fill arenas, in some cases build arenas, so we love that. Going to your point around authenticity, I think what we're trying to create here is a new blend. The NBA is one of the world's, in our opinion, the world's most innovative and future-facing and thinking league. We love that. We love that notion and culture about always pushing high, always thinking about what's next. On the other, Europe has a long-standing tradition in basketball. They produce amazing players. Many of them we have the opportunity, 71 of them, we have the opportunity to admire in the NBA. And the continent has clubs who've been playing basketball for 80, 90, sometimes 100 years, right? You have to respect that. You cannot reinvent the wheel. So we want to keep what is truly European, the gaming style, the passion, the fans, which is quite tribal compared to the US, but bring a lot of the NBA's know-how, commercial ability, innovation, and create this very, very unique blend. That's the idea.
Yeah, I want to add to both of your points. If you build it, they will come. And just like in Europe, basketball might not be as successful just quite yet. But you add operations, you add infrastructure. If you build it, they will come. Just like in Formula One, if you build it, they will come. It wasn't a big sport in America, but they built operations and infrastructure around it, and now it's a massive success. And so sport is always there. We're all human beings. We all enjoy competition, sport. It's something about it that invigorates something in us. And so that is why the investing and all the money that is being poured into sport is because if you build it, everyone will come. Look at Sports Beach where we're at.
Yeah.
They built this and all you guys are here and everyone came because sport is what brings us all together. Look at it, look at everyone in this room. Everyone looks different. We're all from all over the world. If you build it, they will come. I think that's what we're seeing in sport.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Eric, do you think there's a, do you see any sort of risk though, like, as things get towards a more institutional, financial sort of, model, that the fans lose out? I mean, how do you see that working? I mean, I'm a Tottenham Hotspurs fan, and I can't tell you how many people on social media are complaining about the ownership structure, whatever it might be. There's always people saying these sort of things. But do you think there's a real risk that can separate the sport from the fan?
I think if owners and the institutions keep the fan at the forefront, keep the fan experience. If it's all about the fan and attracting more fans and growing the game and bringing more of the people together, I think in the end, it will be successful. You're always going to have some things that people don't like, but I think in totality, if you always keep fandom at the forefront, growing the game, bringing in more fans, creating a better fan experience, whether that's through tech, whether that's through stadiums, investment in the stadiums create a better fan experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think if that's always at the forefront, it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
I think, if I may add to that, in its core, fans follow teams and follow players. So if you respect the teams and the traditions, and if you build the players to be the heroes they are and they can be, the fans will follow. And that's the core side. I would say there is also an opportunity, you touched on that, around fans coming into your game for reasons that may not have to do primarily with your game. The NBA benefits a lot from that because it's a brand that obviously dominates basketball, but crosses over into culture, fashion, music, entertainment. So there's many fans who come for that, or fans to be who come for that, but stay for the game. So you have to give those different avenues and touch points to a broad range of prospective fans to come in and engage with your product.
And I think for brands, I mean, we call this passion point marketing because it's passion points. And yes, your Tottenham fellow fans may be complaining, suffering, but you're still there watching on Sunday, and you're still there cheering for the team. So I think any conversation can be good as long as the sport on the field, the athlete's integrity, the excitement of the media broadcast is all there. The fans are still going to come.
Yeah. I mean, Eric was talking about flag football, which again that's a big international driver of growth for the NFL. But how, from your point of view, from Standard Chartered's point of view, how do you assess? Like, you must get pictures all the time. Because I was saying earlier, my youngest son loves pickleball, and I didn't know pickleball existed until a year ago.
Well, that's one of the things that I find so exciting, and I thought we're probably gonna run out of time, but all of the new sports and new passion points are out there. In the US and in some countries it's pickleball, where I am it's paddle. These are on fire, and so many athletes are investing into paddle. Tennis players, Formula One drivers, such growth in the sport, both pickle and paddle. You've got High Rocks and new fitness participation that just had a huge valuation I saw. And then you've got so many new leagues, be it a Sail GP, E-Series, I think volleyball is a big one in the US as well. So there's so much change and so many passion points that you can look at. So I think you've got the traditional sports, the big leagues, but as brands you also have the opportunity to go where the new fans are into some of these new sports.
Yeah. George, I mean, it's a point though, right? You're in a competitive market. There are lots of sports, lots of other people, they're athletes themselves who are attracting money directly to what they're doing, their businesses, their VC funds. Do you see that competition out there, or is the money just so great now that it can fill all the gaps, as it were?
I don't think we see it that way. I think it's very complementary. At the end of the day, basketball is one of the very few sports that is already truly global. And in comparison to, say, the other major team sport that is truly global, which is soccer, what we call football in Europe, it's the NBA that really owns the game. If you look at European football, you have a series of great assets. You have the Premier League, La Liga, you have Champions League, so you have multiple properties competing for that. That's not the case in basketball. So we see a very unique path to scale because of how global the sport already is and because of the NBA's dominant position with 2+ billion followers in it.
Yeah, yeah. Which is interesting. But, and then just to take that forward, I mean, obviously the auction comes and goes, and NBA comes. But looking forward in 5 years, 10 years time, what does NBA Europe look like?
Best league in the world outside of the NBA, a property out of Europe but for the world. And right now, maybe we have, I don't know, 500-600 players who are NBA caliber. By that moment, because of the investment we'll be making in European basketball, in the grassroots, maybe we have 1,000 of them. And then maybe 5 years from now, we're not just talking about NBA Europe for men, but also for women, which is a huge, huge priority for us.
And then will we have NBA Asia?
We're working on that.
Awesome.
You heard it here first. Eric, tell me, just to conclude, like just someone leave you on the last word. I mean, how do you see the relationship between sport and capital going forward? Like in 10 years' time now, like take it another 5 years, 2035, are we back in sports beach? How does that relationship develop, do you think?
The opportunities are endless. I think us as human beings, we're all athletes in our own right. And sport isn't going anywhere. It's tried and true. It's tested. You could look back in history for thousands and thousands of years. Sport and competition has always been at the so ingrained in the fabric of our society. I think the opportunities are endless. It's very exciting to be a part of it and be on the cusp of all that is to come. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to take the stage with Erica and George, some awesome, amazing leaders in the space, and can't wait for the future.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me, guys, and please thank my panelists.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.